Namaḥ Śivāya Shantaya Karunavatarine Pashunam Pataye Nityam Liṅga Purāṇa Te Namaḥ. Before I begin, I offer my deepest reverence to Lord Shiva, to Mahadev, the one who has carried me through silence, confusion, clarity, and grace, the one who is beyond all description, yet closer than the quietest prayer of the heart. I place all my words at his feet as a small act of devotion. What I am today sharing here is not a doctrine, not a commentary, and not a scholarly interpretation. I speak only as a devotee. This is simply my humble offering to Mahadev. If the words are incomplete, may Mahadev complete them. If the understanding is small, may Mahadev expand it. And if there is devotion in it, may Mahadev accept it. The Liṅga Purāṇa. The Liṅga Purāṇa is one of the greatest Purāṇas, vast in vision, expansive in scope, moving across creation and dissolution, across time and lineage, across devotion, philosophy, ritual, and liberation. It speaks of the origin of the cosmos, of the unfolding of the elements, of the rise and fall of yugas, of sages and kings and gods. Yet, at its heart, it turns again and again toward one central mystery, the revelation of the Liṅga as the manifestation of the infinite. This is not merely a record of distant ages. It is a meditation on origin and return. It reminds us that behind every form stands the formless, and that the formless, out of compassion, allows itself to be approached as Lord Shiva. As we enter the secret current, may we listen not only with the intellect, but with humility. May these teachings unfold as remembrance rather than information. And may this journey be less about accumulating understanding and more about returning to the one from whom everything arises. The journey begins in a sacred forest, Naimiṣāraṇya, where sages gather to listen. Their hearts are prepared, their minds are steady, and into that stillness arrives Sage Nārada, carrying the fragrance of devotion gathered from countless shrines where the Shiva Liṅga has stood silent and unmoving through the ages. He has walked from holy place to holy place, bowing before Mahadev in a symbolic form, observing the vibration of worship that has echoed across centuries. When he arrives, the sages receive him with joy, not because he brings spectacle, but because he carries remembrance. Soon after, Sage Sutta, the disciple of the great sage Vyasa, enters the assembly. In that moment, the lineage of this wisdom becomes visible. It flows from the Supreme to Lord Brahma, from the seers to Sage Vyasa, and from Sage Vyasa to Sage Sutta, and from Sage Sutta to the sages, and now, by grace alone, to us. This knowledge is not seized, it is transmitted to reverence. Before speaking, Sage Sutta bows. He bows to Lord Brahma, to Lord Vishnu, and to Lord Rudra, and beyond them to the one who appears as all three. He reveals that Lord Shiva is Shabda Brahman, the sacred vibration beneath existence itself, the silence before Om, and the silence into which Om dissolves. He is beyond smell, beyond color, beyond form, beyond touch, beyond every attribute that senses can grasp, and yet from him arise the senses themselves. When Rajas moves, he appears as Lord Brahma, shaping creation. When Sattva steadies, he appears as Lord Vishnu, sustaining life. And when Tamas descends, he appears as Rudra, dissolving forms. But beyond the movement of the gunas, beyond creation and preservation and destruction, he remains Mahadev, untouched, self-luminous, and eternal. Out of compassion, that infinite formlessness allows itself to be approached as the Shiva Liṅga. The Shiva Liṅga is not merely a symbol. It is the axis of existence. It stands as a reminder that the infinite cannot be contained, yet it can be revered. When we bow before the Shiva Linga, we bow before that which has no beginning and no end. The silent pillar of light that stands before creation begins and remains even after it dissolves. And from that stillness, creation unfolds gently, almost like breath emerging from deep meditation. Prakriti, the field of manifestation, begins to move, not independently, but because Lord Shiva witnesses. And from that subtle intelligence arises individuality. And from individuality, the elements take shape. Ether gives space, air gives movement, fire gives visibility, water gives cohesion, earth gives solidity. The universe condenses from vibration into matter. The senses awaken. The mind awakens. A vast cosmic egg forms, layered within coverings of subtle and gross realities. And they are not one, but countless such universes, crores upon crores, each with its own cycles of emergence and dissolution. Yet, through all of them, Mahadev pervades silently, like stillness within motion. Time stretches beyond imagination. Ages rise and fall. The Krita Yuga shines with clarity. The Treta Yuga begins its gentle decline. The Dwapara Yuga deepens into complexity, and then the Kali Yuga descends into confusion. Thousands of such cycles form a day of Lord Brahma. When dissolution arrives, fire consumes, water spread endlessly, and all that is mobile and immobile returns to subtlety. Lord Brahma rests upon the cosmic ocean and is now known as Narayana, he who sits or rests upon the waters. When he awakens, he beholds the emptiness and creation begins again. He lifts the earth from the depths in the form of a divine boar and restores mountains, rivers, and oceans. Worlds are re-established and life resumes. Kalpas come and go. Lord Brahma appear and disappear, but Mahadev remains unchanged. As creation becomes more intimate, something profound unfolds. Ignorance appears first, the darkness, confusion, and the veiling. Even at the dawn of existence, obscuration has its place. From that state arise mountains and trees, life-rooted and unmoving. Then beings of movement emerge, gods who look upward, animals who move horizontally, and humans who stand between heaven and earth. The mind-born sages like Sage Sanaka, Sanandana, and Sanatana, they choose renunciation over participation, turning inward even while creation expands outward. Dharma and adharma rise side by side. Love and pride appear together. Virtue and weakness coexist. Creation is not a linear perfection. It is the polarity. It is the tension. It is the balance seeking itself. Then humanity unfolds. The descendants embody living principles like the faith, peace, patience, intelligence, and humility. These names are not distant echoes of mythology. They feel like qualities we recognize within ourselves. And then Lord Shiva reveals himself as Ardhanarishwara, the half masculine and half feminine, reminding us that separation is only in appearance. And from that wholeness comes Mata Sati, the embodiment of devotion, destined to unite with the Rudra. All feminine grace reflects her, and all masculine strength reflects him. Creation unfolds in diversity, but its root remains unity. Through every lineage, every birth, and every virtue and struggle, one truth remains steady. Prakriti moves, and the Purusha witnesses, and Mahadev abides. And as we are listening to this unfolding, something within us recognizes the rhythm. Ignorance clouds our own awareness, and intelligence awakens within us. Ego forms our identity, and attachment binds the heart. We rise, we fall, we forget, we remember. The same cycles that move through yugas move through our own lives. Creation and dissolution are not distant cosmic events. They happen within us, and in every thought that arises and fades, in every attachment that forms and releases. Beneath all of it remains the uncreated self, untouched, beginningless, and endless, a spark of the same eternal presence. The story of creation is also the story of return. Everything that arises will dissolve, and everything that dissolves returns to its source. That source is not distance. It is here, it is awareness itself, and it is Lord Shiva. And as we sit with all of this, with sages bowing, with universes expanding and dissolving, with time stretching beyond comprehension, perhaps the most important movement is inward. The same Mahadev who stands beyond kalpas and cosmic oceans also sits quietly in the heart. The same Lord Shiva who witnesses the birth of stars also witnesses our struggles, our devotion, our longing. He does not demand perfection, he responds to sincerity. And so, as we close this chapter of Srishti Prarambha, the sacred unfolding of creation and Praja Srishti from the Liṅga Purāṇa, may we remember, this was never only about how the universe began. It was about how we begin. Let this be less about mastering knowledge and more about softening into remembrance. Let it be about surrender. Let it be about returning. Returning to the silence before form. Returning to the stillness behind creation. Returning to the one from whom all arose and to whom all gently returns. May Lord Shiva accept this offering. May these words dissolve into silence, and may we move closer, not outward, but inward toward Him. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva. Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. May Jagatpitta Mahadev bless us all. Keep seeking, keep chanting, keep surrendering. Om Namaḥ Śivāya.